What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7, here with another awesome video. This is a Torro Panther G. Now the Panther G is definitely top 3 in my all-time favourite tanks. That'll be the King Tiger, Tiger 1, and then this guy. Now Torro sent me this tank for review, so very much appreciated. Now they produce some fantastic tanks, basic versions all the way up to nearly all metal tanks, which are fantastic. Metal tracks, metal road wheels, metal lower chassis, metal turret, metal everything pretty much. They are really cool, fantastic quality, and the detail is superb. Now this could pass as a display model, it looks so good. Someone wouldn't even know that it's an RC tank. Now the model here I have is the Panther G late version. It comes in infrared and BB models. I have the infrared one here, and this particular one is the airbrush model, and as you can see just from that how good it actually looks. Now in this video I'll unbox it, give you a good in-depth look, show you inside the tank what makes them tick, and give you a driving demo as well. So please stick around, hope you enjoy the video. Okay, now let's have a quick look around the box before we crack it open. Now, as you can see, it is beautifully airbrushed, very nice detail, and I do have the infrared edition. Now it does have some nice pictures of the real tank here, and have a little small note saying that it is a weatherproof finish. And here on the side of the tank we have a lot of information about, you can get the airsoft version or the infrared version. The accessories it comes with a battery, charger, or BB bullets, a small cardboard cutout, your decals or decals, a nice commander there, smoke oil, and all your accessories. Quick little diagram of the functions, obviously left or right or super spin. The turret turns left and right. Gun barrel goes up and down. It does have gun retract system. It does have some hop-ups. It's indicating here that I think with the hop-up you can get around about 25 meters for the BB system, and it does have a recoil system as well. Now the 2.4 GHz remote controller is very nice, gone are the days of the long FM radio, but as you can see it does have several functions here, little switches to start and stop the motor, got the shooting functions, firing MG firing sound, you got also the right trim and the left trim for the track so you can keep it running nice and straight. Now it does also have plastic tracks for this particular model, and on this side of the box it does give you some information about the Panther G, how it originated from, and all that kind of cool stuff. But later on in the video I will go through this as well in further detail. But that's enough talking about the outside of the box. Let's see what you get inside. So the packaging is very nice. What I'll do, I'll get everything out really quickly, then I'll explain in more detail later on. So first off we get a manual, infrared battle system, because this is the IR version, 2000 milliamp nickel metal hydride battery, now just a basic charger for the battery, your 2.4 GHz remote controller, battle tank accessory box, now just really quickly looking at this, the airbrushing and the paint job on this is fantastic. As you can tell, it's not just one monotone color. We have all these different splatters of mud, and even the tracks looks like a bit of airbrushing, or sorry, dry brushing as well, done to them to look more realistic. As you can see here, kind of looks like it's worn down to the metal from the black, so they actually are plastic tracks, but they do look like they're metal. Now let's move on to the accessories and everything else that you get with a tank. We'll move on to this later on in more detail. So in this bag we have the manual and 2 tow cables. As you can see, even these aren't just black like the standard Henglong's ones. They actually have like some dry brushing and look mixture of black and chrome plate to kind of simulate wear and actual use. It does look really nice. Now obviously we get our manual, and here we go, German Panther late version type G, and it gives you a nice little description about the tank itself, all the do's and don'ts, nice simple diagrams to follow, not to shoot it in people's eye, don't get your finger caught within the sprockets, all that kind of stuff, and a description of what you get in this tank as well. Simple instructions of where the battery goes and how to charge them, and of course 6 AA batteries for the controller. Rundown of all the functions for the remote controller, but we'll go through that later on. And same follows with how to control the tank. A simple description of the controls. The turret moves 160 degrees either way, so a total of 320 degrees. And some more functions, and also about the firing mechanism if you have the BB version. Same follows here with where you load it. If you had the BB version, you would load the bullets up into the commander's hatch there. And a description of the infrared battle system. If you want to, that's the good thing about these, you have two of these tanks, you can fight amongst each other. And this page is very important because when all the accessories come out from that accessories box, there are loads of them and you need to know where they go on the tank, and this is very helpful. Also, where to apply the decals on the tank, where you actually need to load up the smoke oil, and a little bit about the circuit boards and more about the controller. So here is your 7.2 volt, 2000 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride battery, along with your standard charger there. Probably charges around about 6 hours and gives you roughly 60 minutes of playtime. So here we have our 2.4 gigahertz controller, and it also comes with these little sticks here to control it. All you need to do is push them into these small holes. They're a nice tight friction fit, so they'll never come out once they're in there. And yeah, that's all you need to do to get the controller ready. Just like that. Very easy. So here is the infrared receiver, and basically that just plugs into the top of the commander's hatch here. And if you notice, there's a little port there and these two different size diameter holes that corresponds with the holes here on the unit. So all you need to do is you line them up and you plug it in and you are ready to go. Just like that. Next up, the battle tank accessories box, and this has a lot of good stuff in here. First up, we have our smoke oil for the smoke system. Now, what's nice about it as well, we get a hand painted commander, so it's not just one green color. You got some separately painted stuff here, which makes it look so much more realistic. Spare tracks that go on the side, and same as the tracks on the actual tank itself, you can see the weathering here that makes it look so much more realistic than just plain black. The jack as well, as you can see, black and chrome or silver, looks really nice. 4 toe shackles. Various other components. You have some handles here, and that looks like the gun travel lock. More separately applied parts. Several other parts here, but don't worry guys, I will show you where all these go on later on. Double-sided tape, and this looks like a stopper to put in the end of the cannon there if you have a BB unit. Really nice hand-painted tools. As you can see, like the commander there, the parts are separated with different colors, which makes it look really, really nice. You have the tank color there, steel for the shovel, and brown to imitate the wood of the actual tool. Another set of parts here though on the side, and especially the machine gun up top. It looks really nice. Can't forget the commander's earmuffs and the front machine gun barrel. Now that all the accessories are out of the bag, we'll put them on the tank and it will make a big difference to the overall look. Now the way these go in there are just a press fit, like a friction fit, and they don't really come off unless you pry them off. Okay, let's get started. Okay, there we have it. That is all the accessories on this tank, and I know it might not come through on the camera, but it definitely looks fantastic. And you've got to consider that this is ready to run, and this is, you know, airbrushed, hand painted. It looks fantastic. infrared version. Like I mentioned, it's got detailed airbrushing, super 4 gigahertz, has a brand new circuit board inside. It also does have new speakers as well. It also does have a metal barrel. It does have new and improved torque motors, and they also have metal gears as well. So that's the benefit with this particular hop-up version. It comes with some metal upgrades. I have several other tanks and they are pretty much all plain, and generally what I'd like to do is weather them, put a wash, do a bit of dry brushing and airbrushing to make them look more realistic. This thing on the other hand, I wouldn't really need to touch. I would be more than happy with this and just put it on the shelf as a model and or use it as an RC tank. Now let's have a nice closer look around it. As you can see, the detail is really nice. Let's go to the road wheels, and there are a lot of them. As you can see there, has separately painted tires, and then you have the yellow color there, and you have like a muddy style of color there. Looks like washed down mud. Looks really cool and really realistic. Now if we actually go to the camo color, as you can see, it is a 3-tone camo. Looks really nice, and when the turret is straight, you can see everything does match up really nicely. Now we can see on the back of the tank here, you have the spare tracks that are on either side, and they also have that dry brush look as well to make them look worn, and that also follows through with the tow cables. Now, as you can see, the camo comes along the side, up above the tank here, and also these vents and everything like that have like a soot finish to them, so they kind of give it that more realistic look as well. Now the back is done very nicely as well. The camo flows everywhere, and you have that nice jack there, which gets that same treatment of dry brushing, makes it look really nice. And also the exhausts here have a kind of a dark hue on top there as well. Here's the other spare track link on the other side, and also, like I mentioned before, all the tools are separately painted with different colors to make them pop that little bit more. Here at the front we have the front machine gun, and it is rotatable like that. This is separately applied as well, and yeah, that's a nice little touch. Now the front and rear have separately applied toe shackles. They do pivot like that, and they're just a friction fit. They clamp onto the side here. Now one thing that makes this really realistic and not just plain black plastic tracks is how they've dry brushed these tracks to make them look like metal. That's a really good job, and even if I tried this, yeah, I don't think I could get it any better than this. Now up top here, I forgot to mention that the commander's hatch is actually spring loaded, as you can see, just like that. So that's nice. If you just kind of lift it up a little bit, pivot it, it'll shut down nice and tight. Now underneath the tank here is your standard affair. The colour does run through here, and as you can see, the camo stops on either edge. Here you have your on and off switch, your volume control, and your smoke switch here. Underneath this compartment, even underneath here, you see these little hatches are nicely detailed. Underneath this compartment is where you put your battery. Now while we're under here as well, you can see the 16 individual suspension arms, or 8 on either side. As you can see, the Panther G had many road wheels, same as the Tiger and the King Tiger. Awesome suspension technology back in the day, and they used torsion bars, and they even still used in today's modern tanks. So great bit of engineering back in the 1940s. But you can see here, so you got 8 on either side, and even the detail inside the tank, which you won't even see from when it's right side up, is nicely detailed as well. So those wheels certainly look well detailed, and the rubber is painted as well on the inside here. Bear in mind, it's not real rubber, but it's plastic painted to look like rubber, and it certainly does look much better. Now that's just held in place with a Phillips head screwdriver. As you can see, easy does it. Plenty of room to put your 2000 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride battery in there. Now before I actually plug in the battery and show you the functions, what I like to do is open her up and show you how these guys tick. Now to separate the lower hole to the top hole, there are several screws which you have to undo. I'll do that now, and I'll show you how to open her up. Okay, now once all those Phillips head screws are removed from the bottom, the lower hole should be able to be separated from the top hole Bear in mind there's a lot of wires and stuff connecting, so don't just reef it up. Now with these, they're generally wedged at the front here, so you kind of pull them out like that at the front, give them a little bit of give, and they eventually will pop out like that. Okay, so there we have it. The top hole is separated from the lower hole, and as you can see, there is a fair bit of stuff going on in here. So first and foremost, we have our two left and right transmissions or gearboxes. As you can see there is there's a number of gears to help slow down those motors and give the amount of torque that is required. So with this particular model, it's got steel gears. You can get plastic, these particular steel gears, and there are another set which are, I think, black hardened gears as well. Here we have our brain. So this has an inbuilt fan which is very nice, so that'll mitigate any temperature issues. It's a new and improved version, and here is a speaker for the engine sounds, turret sounds, and the machine gun sounds, all connected to this one unit here. So here we have our smoke unit. So basically all it is, it's a motor driving a little piston here, and it has an element. Once you pour smoke fluid into this chamber, it fills up, the element burns that liquid, and it pumps it out with this motion from that piston out of this exhaust. And for all who haven't seen the little smoke system work, that's basically all it does. So I don't know if you can see the smoke, but there is some coming out of there, and it looks pretty cool. Just adds to the realism. As you can see, there's a little piston, and there's the element in there with the liquid. Very cool. Here we have an 8-pin wire, as you can see. It runs from this box up into the lower hole, into like a small little daughter board, which, you know, goes out to the various other functions up there. So what I'll do, I'll unplug it. There are the cables there as well for the infrared system and so on. So we'll unplug these and we'll be able to separate them and have a closer look. Okay, once they're all separated, this bottom hole is all free, and we can have a closer look at the top hole. So up here we have some interesting things going on. We have another motor here, and this is for the turret mechanism to turn it left and right. Now here's that wire coming from the lower hole into this smaller daughter board here, and as you can see, there are some for the front headlamp here. Sorry, get it in focus, and also one for the LED in the machine gun. The other wire runs here for that turret rotation motor. Now up in here we have the mechanism to raise and lower the gun barrel. Also there's a LED in the front of this muzzle, so to imitate you know, the firing sequence, and also the infrared unit is squashed up in there as well. So as you can see, there is a fair bit involved into these tanks, and it's pretty squashed into a tight little unit. Lucky the Panther is quite a large tank. If you have a smaller one like the T-34, it gets a little bit cramped, but yeah, there is a fair bit of generous space in here. Okay, first and foremost, when you turn the tank on, you will hear the fan on the control unit, and you also see this light blinking. Now to turn it on the 2.4 GHz controller, you just flick this switch and you'll hear the motor or the engine sound going up. There we go there. Once it's bound and ready to control, you'll see this light stays that constant colour. Now if I move it around a bit, now just move the tank so you can see the front here. If you flick this switch, you'll notice that the machine gun on the front has an LED in there, and it goes on and off as soon as you flick that switch. Now on the left here, you control your turret functions, as you can see, and that'll go 160 degrees either way. Now also, if you push this forward, you'll see the mechanism recoil. It flashes at the end and the tank kind of jolts. Now if you hold this left one down here, you'll notice that it'll cycle going up and down on the barrel there. If you let it go, it will stop. But to cycle through the whole thing, you have to push and hold down on the controller there, like that. And once again, to fire the main cannon, you just push this up, push and hold. There we go there. Okay, now I'll give you a quick demonstration of the driving modes. So with the controller, this right side controls the tank. So if you push up slowly, you'll see the tank slowly go forward. Push it down, it'll go backwards. Just like that. And in this proportion, you can see it has several speed steps. So it's nice and slow, or you can go fast if you want. But it's a tank, so you wouldn't want it to be too quick. Now to turn the tank left or right, you simply push left or push right like that. And if you continually just push it, it'll just do like a super spin on the spot, just like that. And that is the same in both directions. Like that. Now to maneuver the tank around obstacles, you want to accelerate and at the same time turn in the direction you want to go. Show you again. So if you want to reverse and turn at the same time, you push it like that, or like this. Very, very easy, as you can see. So like the real tank, it'll skid steer like it just did, kind of locked up this left track and steer to the left. Pretty cool. Now as you can see there, the battery just went flat. It's running a bit low. So that's just a basic driving overview. What I'll definitely do later on in some further videos is get them outside and give you a more in-depth look on how it handles over terrain and all that kind of stuff. As you can see, there are plenty of wheels here. At the front you have your driving sprocket. It is plastic, and then you have your road wheels on the side. There are plenty of them. The Tigers, the Panther and the King Tiger probably had the most of any tank. It's an interleafed pattern design, nightmare for if you were the maintenance crew back in the day, but it provided excellent stability, and also, I guess, for protection. If a shell came through the side here, it kind of had some extra protection going through the lower hull. Anyway, these are individually sprung, as you can see. Very nice. It also does have the rear idler. It is non-adjustable, so if you want to adjust the tension of this track, you would take a track link out of there. Now ideally this is a little bit too tight. Now for that I'll just take one track link out of there, and on the Panthers and Tigers it should be roughly sitting, sagging just around there. Now you don't want to have it too tight because there'll be several issues. Might be stressing out the drivetrain or also stressing out the rear idler there. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you want to go check out this tank and various other models, please go see the link down in the description box below. Any questions, please leave them down in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them. Once again, big thanks to Torro for sending me this tank for a review. Very muchly appreciated. Definitely love the look of the Panther. One of my favourite all-time tanks behind the King Tiger and Tiger 1. So that's it guys. Stevie RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.